Fifth Street Baptist Church. It's great to see you today. I hope that you had a great weekend. We sure did have a great weekend here at the church. We had a wonderful morning of worship on Sunday morning. Our Easter choir is kicked off and they're rolling. We had Fifth Street University on Sunday night. Everything was moved up an hour so we could have a Super Bowl fellowship in the fellowship hall. Our fellowship team did a wonderful, wonderful job, and our IT team kicked in some help. Our IT team kicked in helping, as well as a lot of folks serving, washing dishes, serving food. It was really a great event. I think it was the biggest Super Bowl fellowship event we've had since we came to town, which is 4 years ago. So I was really excited to see everybody, see the multi-generation ministry going on there in the fellowship hall. So we're so thankful for that. And we're running a little bit slow here this morning because it was a little bit late going there. So it was a great weekend. One of the things that I am teaching about on Sunday nights are the spiritual disciplines for the Christian life by Dr. Donald Whitney. He's a professor at Southern Seminary. And last night, our session was on evangelism and God's calling upon all believers to share our faith. One particular thing that I want to talk about today, which I don't often have an opportunity to speak about when I preach about evangelism, especially as we walk through the book of Acts on Sunday mornings, is how God uses the way you live your life to open doors of opportunity for you to share your faith. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." So what Jesus is telling us is when we live our life and honor God, when we specifically do good works to help other people, that gives God glory. Now, Paul also spoke about this in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14 and 15. It says, but thanks be to God who always leads us in triumph in Christ and manifests through us the sweet aroma of the knowledge of him in every place. For we are a fragrance of Christ to God among those who are being saved and among those who are perishing. You know, it's interesting. This morning was a little chilly, and I know many of you are going to make fun of me for this, but my office up here, most of the time, I'm very thankful because my office stays very cool. And so, you know, when it's July and August and in the 90s outside and relentlessly hot, I come to my office. It's really nice. It's a nice place to work. However, when it's cold out, my office is also pretty cold. The other day it was 60 in here. And so I'm ashamed to say that I had to bring in the old space heater from home. And so I brought it in today because I didn't know how cool it would be in here. And it wasn't too bad. I ran it for about 20 minutes and it heated back up. But when I cranked the space heater up, I hadn't had this thing cranked up in probably 5 years. I didn't even know if it would work. But it did crank up. It did run and start making heat. But it also made a very specific aroma. And, you know, I was sitting here working right after I turned it on. And I remember smelling something and thought, that's an interesting smell. It doesn't smell right. It actually smells like something's burning. And then I recognized it was a space heater. And I had this kind of warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And it's like, oh, it reminded me of growing up, of, raising my kids when we lived in the north on those particularly cold days, like days when it's like below 30, we would crank up a space heater in the room to be an auxiliary heater for our normal heater and try and save some money. And that smell reminds me of winter. It reminds me of hot chocolate, of putting kids in snowsuits and taking them out to go sledding and all those things. And so it's funny that normally what would be, kind of most people would think a burning smell of like, hey, there's a fire. For me, that smell is warmth and a fragrance and aroma that reminds me of good times with my family. And that's what our good deeds do, right? So when we live for Christ, when we live a biblical life, which includes doing good works for other people, caring for people, loving other people, when we do those things, that gives off this spiritual aroma to both the saved and encourages them. It draws them near to Christ. It increases their faith. but also to those who are perishing, those who do not yet know Christ. It is an aroma, a fragrance that draws them to God. They see your good works and they start to ask questions. And so God uses our evangelism. God developed a plan, a twofold plan for successful evangelism. And step one is to do good works that honor God, that draw people to Christ. So doing good things to other people to open up a door for evangelism. And then two, we don't just do good works. Our good works lead to opportunities to share our faith. So we do good works that bring honor to God. Our good works are this fragrant aroma, both to the saved and to the lost. And then those good works draw people to Christ. And then when we have those opportunities, we tell them about Jesus and what he's done in our life. And so I pray that you'll engage in this twofold evangelism. Would you join me in beginning to pray that God would open up doors of opportunity for you both to do good works to serve other people, and then as the door opens for the gospel, that we would be faithful in sharing it with them. We have a lot of great things happening here at Fifth Street Baptist Church over the next few weeks. I want to encourage you to be here on Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock p.m. We have something for the whole family. We have CAs for children. We have act teams and challengers for youth. And then, of course, all the adults join me in the sanctuary for prayer and Bible study. And then on Sunday mornings, we have Bible study at 9:45 for all ages. And then we have church at 11 o'clock, and we all do that in the sanctuary. Nurseries provided for our children 9 weeks up to 4 years. And then on Sunday nights, we have Fifth Street University, which also has something for everybody. I think I look forward to seeing you here at church. I think I'm really looking forward to the coming months here at Fifth Street as we move out of this season of pandemic and into more fruitful ministry. I pray that this little message has been a blessing for you and for your family, and I hope that you'll share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it as well. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.